So, how to cope with the transformation to teaching and learning from home. And the common questions that are asked are, what has changed between the home and the school learning environment, and how we can deal with those challenges that we face from the transition from school learning to home learning. And what do we expect? What is expected of us as international students? And how are we graded at home in terms of experiences, in terms of supporting our mental health well-being? Are those experiences really touched on when we are graded with our studies, and the emotional pressure and how we deal with emotional pressure during this time? And are these changes forever, or are they temporary? And how we can transition between during COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 and basically learning forever? And what are possibilities of rebuilding and evolving our institutions on their side, and how for them, how do they cope with the COVID-19 crisis? With the mindfulness and practicing mindfulness through online learning, we need to know how to share mindfulness tips and increase mindfulness well-being within our international student community and our education community and our scholar community. By sharing mindfulness, this increases self-awareness, it increases self-management, social awareness, and relationship skills, and really entices us in making better decisions and encouraging us to identify situations where we're able to practice mindfulness and probably be very productive over practicing mindfulness. Involving families and involving everyone around us and helping us to be mindful, it really supports us. It really supports how we structure our day-to-day schedules as students. It really supports how we structure the work life, the school life, and how to study and how to go about our day-to-day routine. And to practice mindfulness, these are some tips to help us practice mindfulness. To sit in a comfortable position with your eyes closed and notice the places where your body is touching the floor, cushion, or a chair. To really be grounded, it's called the grounding exercises, to really notice the environment that we are within and how to practice our mental well-being at home or wherever you are studying as an international student. By doing this, you draw in deep breaths and completely filling up your lungs and quickly exhaling. So this is a tip on how to physically practice mindfulness. So you draw in deep breaths and completely filling up your lungs and quickly exhaling. Then thinking back to a recently experienced time where you felt anxiety and stress and uncertainty, and allowing yourself to experience these emotional turmoils or other familiar feelings that you felt before. Once you've done this, disregard all the memory of guilt and sadness and stress. This will help you into becoming very productive because you've now identified your problem. So if it's the school content that is quite harder, you're able to now notify your lecturer or your educator in terms of the content that you cannot deal with as you've drawn the emotional side of things out of it. So you can contact your educator. And if it's not a learning or an online, if it's not based on the education part of it, and now you've actually realized that it's actually based on your anxiety and you need support and you need help, you can reach out to an organization, or you reach out to your school, or you reach out to us and say, okay, I've really comprehended how, and I've really been mindful of what I've done, and I need help in terms of my mental well-being. I'm unstable, I'm feeling stress, I'm feeling anxiety. And if it's a chat, that's all you need to make you calm down and to be able to be counterproductive, then we're able to help you with that too. But if you need professional and seek professional help, then it also makes you mindful that, you know, you need external help and we're here for you and every step of the way. After doing this, you turn your attention on how you're experiencing confusion to your body. Notice whether any parts of your body are manifesting your anger or sensations like warmth or coldness. The intensity of these reactions, whether they change as you observe them or move through your body. Bring compassion to your stress and your anxiety. This can be a very difficult step, but remind yourself that anxiety, anger, confusion, uncertainty, being uncomfortable is a natural human emotion that affects us all at one point or another. Say goodbye to that and say hello to a good mental health. Gradually bring your attention back to your breath and rest here for a while until you're very comfortable in what you're doing and in who you are and in the situation to be able to move forward. Once this is done, reflect on your experience. Notice the sensations that the exercise has brought us in your body. Notice that the changes through our body. Take note of whether the compassion or the anger or anything that has triggered you to this point is gone. Think about what happened to the anger and how it has shown you compassion. Behavioral changes on young people during this pandemic and how we can deal with it. The coronavirus pandemic may be harder for some children or young people to handle than others, such as already experienced anxiety. So if you've already experienced anxiety or distress, this can be very hard and the changes can be very hard for us to deal with. And below here, there are some strategies to help you as an educator to look after your students and your own mental health and well-being during this corona pandemic. Maintain your routines where possible. Maintain any aspects of your routine as possible. Break tasks down into manageable chunks and notice possible transition and changes to the routine and environments. Have realistic expectations upon yourself, of children and of your peers and of yourself during this time, especially if you're transitioning in and out of school. For example, how I maintain my routine when I am off work and I'm working from home. Have a time, an hour before you start your lecture or you go into a tutorial, where you have an hour of self-reflection and affirmation period. You have your tea or you have your breakfast, or if you're very religious, you read your religious notes and you affirm yourself that today will be a better day. Today, you remind yourself of what you need to do, you write those down. And if you don't want to write it down, put it on your phone and practice your routine and tell yourself of the things you need to do. Break it down within hours. When we were at school, everything was done very concentrated. You moved from building to building, you attended lecture to lecture where there are no breaks. But now we've moved from school to home. We've moved to a place where we used to call our safe zone. So we were so used to going to school and moving into a school zone, and our body was comfortable with being in a classroom or being in the lecture room, where we had to give our all within that 2 hours, 3 hours. And then we go back into home where it's our safe zone, we take a break and we study. Now our safe zone is much how targeted because we need to do everything in one spot. We need to study, we need to rest, we need to sleep, we need to deal with all our emotions in one area, which can be a very difficult process because this home or this house or this school building or this residential building for school is now used for everything and not just rest and just affirm yourself, but it's also used for studying. So by having a period where you take a walk, you do your exercises, you practice mindfulness, you practice ways to deal with your anxiety, you practice affirmation, having study time really helps you into being productive and also grounding yourself so that you're able to motivate yourself and continue forward in what you have done. So maintain your routine where possible, but also remember that we are all human and we need to have realistic expectations upon yourselves. Divide your hours and be able to be counterproductive with yourself, but also maintaining your well-being and your mental health when done. Talk about what's happening in the news with your peers, with your lecturers, educators. Talk to the young scholars about what's happening in the news. By talking about what's happening in the news, this is also very important to identify the correct sources of news information. So by being up to date with the news gives a good care and gives a good understanding of things are getting better. There is help out there, and that we are not in control of everything, that we are in control of what we can control, but there are upper bodies that are in control of everything around us, and that makes us all calm down. By being affirmed that we have our government, we have our organizations such as Mental Health Foundation that are helping us in coping with these stresses, we're able to calm ourselves down and able to focus on what we need to do as international students, because the main goal is by studying and empowering ourselves as young people to be better leaders of tomorrow. So by being able to inform ourselves and staying informed and staying in touch and keeping in touch with the news, it also subconsciously motivates us to take control of what we can do, and really note of things that we can't do and things that we should let alone. Because just a general experience is just always wanting to know the facts and the infographics of what's happening. Are the cases getting worse? Are the cases getting better? When am I able to go home? Do international students have support? So by having all these questions stuck in your thoughts and trying to figure it out yourselves, keeping up with the news really helps us, because all these questions and answers are there. They're there at the tip of our fingers, and all we need to do is to stay in touch and keep informed. If we don't understand something, it's always good to bring a call. Most of our calls are toll free. The government calls are toll free. The Mental Health Foundation call is toll free. Just having a call and trying to clarify issues will allow us to be at peace and allowing us to focus on what we can deal with instead of focusing on things that we can't deal with. For example, international students, at the beginning of this pandemic, it was very unfortunate as casual workers weren't allowed to continue working. We had part-time workers that had to slow down their hours, and we're all stressed. It was a very stressful period for international students, as we didn't know what to do. We felt neglected because we came here to study, but there is no help for us. But recently we found out this is the relief package for international students and how we can get help, which I'm sure Vasan will touch on later, and how we can get help, and the relief package that the Victorian government has had for us, and the other states have different packages and how they can help international students. This allows us to sit back and relax and realize that our economical situation is getting better. And the political situation is getting better in terms of international students. We have free legal care from universities to help us. If we ever need rental assistance, we have universities to help us. We have information about meal packages now. So by just keeping up, not just the general news, but keeping up with organizations and school news, and that really benefits us and keeps us calm, and knowing that we can control what we can control, and the rest is not in our control. Focus energy in a positive direction. we need to encourage student-led discussions just like this, and talk about how we can minimize the spread, or how we can cope together, or things that we can do to benefit us and help us through this pandemic, which would be very beneficial for international students. And also help regulate emotions. As I've said, words of affirmation are really good. Supporting children and young people to express their emotions so they feel listened to and validated. It's a tough time. Everybody is going through a tough time, and we always think, oh, the other person also has responsibilities. The other person also has something to say. We don't want to bombard people with all our thoughts and all our emotions. And what we want to say is, we're here for you. You are not alone. We're all in this together. We're a community. At the end of the day, we're international students. When you realize the number of international students that are in this country that have the same story, that we're all going through the same thing, I think it's time to realize that we can talk and lean on one another. Even though we can't help one another because we're international students, there are organizations to help us. But by talking to your peers and supporting them, that's better than nothing. We need to really encourage our friends and encourage our educators and our scholars that it's okay to talk, it's okay to feel like you need to be validated, and it's okay to listen, to just listen and being quiet and listening to your peers. And for professionals, how to really manage stress and challenges during the pandemic. Reclaim your routine, the routine that you had at school and the routine that you had when you were an educator in a facility. Do that same routine at home. Yes, teachers, we all think teachers have 24 hours in a day, and because you're at home, there are no responsibilities. But we're here to say that you need to focus on your well-being too. And during this time, yes, everybody is relying on educators. Everybody is relying on those that are teaching us to have the answers to everything at their time, because we're also prioritizing our time. But start by making a list of everything you have to do at specific time slots, like teaching online, writing notes to parents, then scheduling these things to do, and having time for yourself to maintaining your mental health being, physical health, and talking to parents, talking to us students, talking to scholars. Have specific time, set a time and say, between 2 and 4 p.m. on a Thursday, I will be attending to everyone's emails. Please send me an email, but my response is either within an hour of that time or within 24 hours or the specific time. This really gets you into reclaiming your routine so you don't feel overwhelmed. You have a schedule of when to attend to something, and when that time is done, you know it's okay, I can exercise now, or I can move on to the next thing. I can introduce the next topic to the unit. I can introduce things to our students. Team up with parents, and this is more for high school students and primary school. So teachers team up with the parents. Remote learning has shifted to an intensified relationship between parents and teachers. Make a side note for parents in cases where it needs more attention instead of yours. And also tap into your happy space. To maintain a level-headed in the midst of enormous uncertainty, experts' advice remains to be focused on what is focused on and what matters most. Remembering yourself as a skilled teacher, even though things might look different. Your qualification hasn't changed. You're still a teacher and you're still learning. It's a new time for technology for everyone. We've moved to Zoom, we've moved to Microsoft Teams, we've moved to Skype, we've moved to all these programs. It's new for all of us. So you just also need to understand that you're also human. We're all not tech savvy, except for those that are focusing on technology. But it's okay to let someone know that I will get back to you. I will email the school and I'll find out. It's okay in this time. To move on to our mental health information, the Mental Health Foundation prides itself with supporting international students and supporting educators and scholars. We have our mental health brochure to tap in all the different topics you need to, you have questions on that we can't answer today. We have a school program for scholars and parents and educators that might be interested. This is more for primary school and the high school students. We have a school program for you. To find out, the link below. I know this slide will also be on our website after this, and the slide will also be on our YouTube channel. So you can always click on the link, or you click on the link now if you're able to. We also have a mental health first aid if you're an international student and it's almost exam time for us, and in 2 weeks we'll be having free time. We also have a mental health first aid if you want to challenge yourself and you feel like you're being lazy or you're just not doing anything now because there's no school, you have enough time to do something at home. We have a mental health first aid, which teaches us the basics about mental health, how you can help your peers, how you can help your community, how you can help your neighbor. It's just a great opportunity on just learning and empowering yourself, because we're here to empower ourselves in many ways, not just through our degree, but through just being a better person for everyone, being a better person for yourself, and just elevating to your highest level. And we have community education webinars, and this is our 6th one, where we host webinars for different topics, and today's one was for international students. We also have mental health support groups. So the benefits of joining a support group with our foundation is you just need to realize that you're not alone. Everyone is here with you. We're all experiencing the same thing. We've all experienced the same thing for those that were international students before. It's just a time to connect with your peers and just have relatable stories. It's always good to be of comfort and to just know that someone is here with you and we're all supporting each other. Expressing your feelings, it's very hard. We're told to toughen up, go through with it. We're here to study. We're here to just study, get on, work, and go back home. But once you just lock yourself in a cage of just working, and studying, it becomes very draining for our body. So by just expressing your feelings with people of the same mind set as you is always good. And it's also about like finding out information, how to improve your social skills, gaining hope, gaining confidence, and reducing the stress. And some youth groups that we have are the Youth Anxiety Support Group. We have an African Youth Support Group, which I lead, and an Indian Pakistani Youth Support Group. We have other support groups down on the link below, and we have an email if you would like to know more on PTSD, eating disorders, family violence. We have so many other support groups. So don't just think that these are the support groups. If you want to know more support groups, or if you know someone that might need a support group, just click on the link below or contact us on our support group mhfa.org.au. And we also have mental health advocacy, which Philasande will be touching on in a moment. It's just a youth ambassadors program. I really do encourage international students to join this program, especially because we're all diverse, we're all from different nations, and we all reach different communities. As much as we think we're all international students, we need representation is key. And by joining our youth ambassadors group, it's just very important by reaching your friends, by reaching the community, by helping the community, because we're all in this together. I am because you are, and you are because I am. So it's just that whole community effort into making people aware that mental health is good. We should not be scared of it. The stigma behind it, we need to educate ourselves that it's really important to spread the word of it. But also, it's also very well if you're interested in building relationships, networking, being part of politics. If you're part of a school club or an international student club, it's a good program where you meet people, you get mentored by Philasande and Jim, which is amazing because then you're building your profile, you're networking. So it's about mental health, but it's also about your own career building, which I know as international students, it's something we want to do. We want to occupy space. We want to be the best we can be, which is what sets us different. We left our homes in search of what can we do, what can we take back home, what difference can we make in the world. So by joining our Youth Ambassadors program, it's really a great opportunity to learn those baby steps and learning leadership skills and ways to enhance your well-being. Just develop resilience and coping skills, which I've said below and I've said on previous slides. Track and manage your mood and thoughts. Improve your learning skills and communication skills. Track physical health, including sleep, movement, and nutrition. We all have devices, so be it Apple and Android. We have apps that really cater to improving your sleep, tracking your usage on your phone, tracking your steps, the steps that you walk per day, tracking your water. So by incorporating these small baby steps into your life since you're at home, this can just improve how you feel about yourself, because you have all these tracks of what you've done today, what you've eaten today. It's just a small way to checklist and make yourself feel good about yourself and your mental well-being at your time at home. Connect with like-minded peers and communities. So by joining our support groups, we're also on Facebook. You can join us on support groups on Facebook. By being around people that think like you, by doing the Youth Ambassadors program, the Multicultural Ambassadors program, this really increases your self-worth as a human, your self-assurance, your self-awareness, your confidence, and not feeling alone during this time of the pandemic. And seek professional help or peer support. We're here to help you if you don't know where to go and you're really concerned about how you are and how you're feeling. Give us a call. We have a national mental health helpline, which is open. Give us a call. We're here to help you, and it's okay to seek help. No one will know. It's between the staff and you, and it's between the professionals and you. And because I personally, from personal experience, yes, I've sought help, and it's easy. Just give a call. I think the most difficult part is calling, because you think you're feeling judged. You've come so far to just give someone a call because you feel very down and low, and we think everything is under control. Meanwhile, all you need to do is just talk to someone, and realizing that some professional help can help us into being very productive and stepping back into your life, tapping back into what you've affirmed yourself to do, going back on track on why you're in Australia as an international student, and rebuilding your confidence. Yes, and have a way to say what you're thinking, and remember that your voice is heard. And if you feel like you can be a voice to the voiceless and you would like to help that, yes, we have our advocacy programs, and organize and plan online communication with your friends or your peers through Zoom, Skype, Instagram video. Join our support groups.